gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on your mind, on your health, yeah. You gotta work, never tell, keep your head down, find what you love and excel, yeah.
Redmi has finally brought the Pro variant back to the K100 lineup, and this time there's something very interesting under the hood, the 5th generation Snapdragon 8 Elite V series, model SM88501-AB. But here's the big question, how different is it from the regular 5th generation Snapdragon 8 Elite?
Big thanks to my tech partner over in China for providing this footage. I really appreciate the support in making this video happen. Hey everyone, Stella here from techiestreet. If you're into staying updated with the newest gadgets, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our latest tech content.
Architecturally, the CPU still uses the 3rd generation Orion design. The setup remains 2 super cores at 4.6 GHz and 6 large cores at 3.62 GHz, while the GPU uses the same generation of Adreno architecture. So on paper, they look very similar, but the maximum operating frequencies are different. In simple terms, this is a more affordable and cost-effective version. So, how does it actually perform inside the Redmi K100 Pro? Let's find out. Starting with Geekbench 6, the K100 Pro scores 3,599 single-core and 11,280 multi-core. For comparison, the iQ15 scores 3,817 and 12,082. The Red Magic 11 Pro gets 3,821 and 12,403, while the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max scores 3,662 and 11,410. Compared directly with the iQ15, the K100 Pro is about 5.7% slower in single-core and 7.5% slower in multi-core, and that confirms the performance difference we expected. But benchmarks aren't everything. What really matters is gaming performance. We tested the K100 Pro against other gaming-focused phones using the same conditions and environment. In the wide-angle Honor Series test, average frame rates were almost identical, and 1% low results were also very close. The K100 Pro was slightly hotter and used a little more power. Still, during actual gameplay, there was no major difference in smoothness, only a subtle difference in how the phones felt. Then things got more interesting in Peacekeeper Elite. Average frame rate and temperature were similar, but the K100 Pro's 1% low frame rate was over 20 frames higher. Yes, it used slightly more power, but its minimum frame rate stayed noticeably more stable during fast camera movements, close-range fights, and demanding scenes. Finally, in Genshin Impact, the results were similar to Honor of Kings. The K100 Pro again delivered a slightly higher 1% low frame rate, but also had slightly higher temperature and power consumption.
The new Iron series delivered similar performance overall, but there was one catch. The temperature climbed to nearly 47 degrees Celsius. That shows the phone was really pushing its hardware. Looking at the results, this V-series chip stays firmly within the performance range of the 5th generation Snapdragon 8 Elite family during gaming. In fact, the K100 Pro's average frame rate was about 1% higher. Its low frame rate also remains strong, but there's a trade-off. Efficiency isn't as good as the standard version, and temperatures are higher. Clearly, this tuning prioritizes performance over efficiency. And the high refresh rate experience goes beyond 144 Hz. The K100 Pro supports ultra-high 165 Hz and even 185 Hz modes. Genshin Impact already supports a wide range of games, and many popular mobile titles can take advantage of these ultra-high frame rates. We tested several games and the results were impressive. In CrossFire at 185 Hz, the K100 Pro maintained an almost full frame rate of 184.6 FPS, while the 100% low stayed extremely high at 147.9 FPS. For shooting games, higher frame rates aren't just about smoother visuals. Aiming, zooming, turning, and reacting in combat all feel more consistent because the screen updates faster. The K100 Pro's 165 and 185 FPS Genshin Impact modes also show exactly what its 185 Hz display can deliver. But what if a game doesn't support 165 or 185 FPS? That's where the dedicated graphics card comes in.
With PC-level AI super resolution enabled in Genshin Impact, textures like walls become clearer and character edges look sharper. You don't need to stare at pixels to notice it, just zoom in and the difference becomes obvious. Based on current support, the D2 can enable 185 FPS super resolution and differential frame rates across 7 major games, while more than 40 games support 165 FPS differential frame rates. This solves another problem too. Even when Genshin Impact isn't running at ultra-high FPS, the dedicated graphics card can still improve image quality and frame rate performance. So, looking at both specifications and real gaming results, this V-series chip performs close to the standard 5th generation version, around 90% or even higher. But remember, the processor isn't everything. Cooling matters just as much. The K100 Pro uses a 5,150mm² circulating cooling pump with a total heat dissipation area exceeding 26,000mm². The cooling system and camera positioning around the landscape gaming grip area have also been specifically adjusted. And that's my first impression of the Redmi K100 Pro. This is just an initial hands-on. I'll upload a much more detailed review after the official launch on August 11th. So if you want the full performance, gaming, camera, battery, and overall review, make sure you subscribe and join our tech team. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!